so much chrome, I can tell if I'm recording or not, even without mirrors. So I purchased this bike from the original owner, who purchased it brand new from the dealership with 1 mile on it. And he told me that the owner of the dealership, because he actually works for the dealership, told me that the owner purchased it for himself originally, but once the bike showed up, he was actually too afraid of it to ride it. So the guy I bought it from purchased it. So that's the story of how he got it. And basically, he was a sport bike rider, and this bike, I'll tell you what, can convert a sport bike rider to a cruiser bike rider pretty quick, just because of the raw power it has. So he actually had a CBR 1000RR that he had, and so this was his second bike. So he didn't ride it too much, but he actually ended up getting into a wreck on his CBR 1000, and he showed me the scar on his leg. It was pretty gnarly. And after that accident, he just didn't really ride that much anymore, and he decided to get more into building cars. So that's why this bike has extremely low miles. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret right now. It had under 3,000 miles when I purchased this thing. So, but that's just the story of how I got this thing now. So I am so glad to be in possession of this. I am going to put a lot more miles on this thing than it has ever seen. So let's go ahead and find a spot to pull over, and I'll do a little walk around of this bike because it is pretty. Again, checking if I'm recording. All right, guys, this is it. This is a 2007 VTX 1800F3. So it is the Spec 3 of the F model. And I just found this out that the F model actually has a different frame than all the other VTX 1800s, and bigger gas tank, along with the digital readout, which is amazing. I love having the tach. The one I had before did not have a tachometer, and I just like knowing where I'm at in the RPM. So let's go ahead and move to the rear, because this thing is not stock in the rear at all. It has a 200 Metzler rear tire, which is apparently the biggest size you can go without doing any modifications. Really love the 200 rear tire. As you can see, the brake light has been moved to the left side with the vertical license plate. I really like that too. And I have the LED turn signals on the side. Looks really clean back here. And if you heard, I have Vance & Hines pipes on this thing. They are super loud. I keep getting warnings on my watch about loudness level, so that's an indicator of how loud this bike is. Sounds great. My last one had the 2-into-1 exhaust, which was great. It sounded great. I'm not sure which one sounds better, honestly. And if you noticed, this bike is actually lowered too. The previous owner took a coil spring out of each side of the shocks and then lowered it down to the 1 setting, and it is low. The ride is really firm, so I don't bottom out too much, but I think I am going to raise it up a little bit just to give me a little more travel. It is a firm suspension because we do have the Big Showa inverted front forks on this thing. Pretty much a sport bike style front fork. Handles great. I actually think that this bike has more ground clearance than my other one, to be honest. I don't know if it's because it's lowered in the back that the front pegs are up a little higher, or if it's because this frame is different, but I definitely feel like I can lean more on this bike than my other one. So the next thing I want to show off is these wheels, because the F3 spec wheels are gorgeous, and they're big. They're 18s, I believe. 17s or 18s. I don't see a tire size right off the bat, but they are gorgeous. I haven't even cleaned this bike yet. The previous owner cleaned it up really nice for me before I bought it. Got the bigger rear wheel in the back too. I love it. Has an aftermarket seat, which is more of a bucket style seat. The passenger seat has been removed. I may put it on, I may not. I like it like this. I actually am debating pulling off these rear pegs, but they are going to have this, looks like a bracket just hanging out, so I might just leave it on there to keep the chrome and keep the nice contrast. I don't know yet, but so also the F3 spec has the diamond cut motor, which is gorgeous. It's this black motor with the aluminum fins on it. It is very sexy. I like it a lot. I just now noticed that there was a dent in this cover right here. I wonder how that happened. Interesting. Alright, so I didn't see that before, but there is a little dent in my pipe. I did also see this dent on the gas tank on this side. I wasn't going to let this keep me from buying this bike just because it is such a low mileage, more on the rarer side of these bikes because it is the F3. And as you can see, it's got a pretty good dent in there. I may get that fixed. And also right here has a dent in this is a coolant reservoir cover tank. So it's like $80 to replace that. I might try and pop that out. If I can't, then I'll just replace it because I want this bike looking as clean as I can make it because I really like it. It is a good looking bike, a lot of chrome. I'm not a huge black and chrome fan, honestly, but this bike is just done so well that I can't help but love this thing. It is so pretty. So I believe that is about it for all the mods and stuff to it. I will be doing a couple of things just because it's an older bike that's been sitting for quite some time, and it's going to need some fluids changed. Granted, previous owner had an oil change, a coolant flush, brake fluid flush, and had a rear diff service completed, so I don't know. I probably am going to replace all those fluids again just because the peace of mind of it, and it's not too hard to do. But there are a couple of other things that I noticed, so I do want to go through the bike. And to put it in perspective, this front tire is still the original tire from when it rolled off the showroom floor. If I could find the DOT on here, I would show you that it's an 06 code. So the tire is in phenomenal shape for the age. I don't see any like major dry rot or anything like that. It feels pretty balanced. So I've been running with it. I will replace that, but that's not like the major concern for me right now because I want to ride this thing. So, and even this rear tire I think is from 09. So they're pretty old. They do need to be replaced. So that'll be for future content. But I think that is everything on this bike that has been done to it. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm excited to have this. I hope you guys are excited to see content on this. It is just a fun bike. To have this and the FZ1 are pretty much my two dream bikes to have, just to own for long term, because they both got a ton of power. Once you've been riding for so long, you just want the power. I don't know. That's just how I've felt. You know, you got the experience. You can handle it. You just need to know how to handle it before you can ride some of these big bikes, because no traction control, you can peel that tire out pretty much anytime, and it's a big heavy bike. So yep, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this thing is pretty? Do you think it was worth it? I didn't tell you how much I paid for it yet. I paid $5,300 for this thing, so pretty much a brand new bike to me. I mean, obviously to me, but a brand new bike in itself, barely broken in. So I plan on breaking this thing in even harder. So alright guys, that's going to do it for today. I want to first off thank all of my new subscribers for joining the channel. Hopefully you guys are excited for the new content. And if you like what you saw here today, please help support me in this channel by hitting that like button and subscribing for future videos. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.